Again.
Hello.
Hi. Hey, Battern. Oh, poor you. I hope you get to sleep after this.
Oh, it's all good. Pleasure to be here.
Yay. Thank you for coming. All right. Hang on. Just waiting for Drew. Hey, Dragon. Oh.
Hey, we're still fighting for first place at a poker.
Hey.
Okay. Okay. So there's a poker match ongoing. All right. Hang on. Where are Drew and Paula? I guess they're coming. So hi, everyone. Thanks for coming. As always, Luke is at a company offsite today, so the back community team will fill in for him. I'm just going to give my team a couple seconds to join here, and then we'll kick off.
Have you got a slide deck ready for today, Jenny?
I do, yes. Hang on a second. I'm going to set us up. Sorry, having some issues. All right, there we go. Can you see?
Yep. Good
Perfect. All right. I guess we can kick off, and then hopefully the rest of our team turns up in a couple of minutes. But yeah, let's kick it off. So welcome back. As I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, Luke's at an offsite, so we will be filling in for him today. So today we'll shift our focus to community updates, and we'll hear from Battern, we'll hear from Guillermo, from Drew, from Paula, and me, as well as from several of our Bat Ambassador Program members who will share about some of their recent efforts and initiatives. So we'll hear from Bows, Crypto Dojo, aka Scott, and I think maybe even Bruno. That's exciting. And following the community update, we also have Shivan here, who is one of Brave's leads on privacy engineering. And he's here to shed some light on recent updates regarding fingerprinting from January 18th. I know some of you are asking to have him on, so he's here today. Welcome, Shivan. And he'll be answering any questions you may have and sharing potentially some other exciting updates that he has.
Hey, yeah, happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome. We're so happy that you were able to make it. Okay, so let's start with the community update. I'll walk us through that first. Just looking for Paula. Oh, she's here. Okay, we're good. All right, so yeah, I'll lead us in with the community update. And I'll start, as always, with a Bat Ambassador's referral stats update. I'll also mention while covering this that going forward, I'll be giving this update on a bi-weekly rather than weekly basis so that it's a little bit more impactful because the numbers aren't moving that much week over week at this stage. So yeah, and so for anybody new in the room, this referral stats campaign is one we have been running with our Bat Ambassador Program volunteers since mid-September. And we're using this campaign as one metric to help us gauge our program's impact on Brave browser user growth over time. And the campaign will remain ongoing throughout Q1 of 2024. In the meantime, though, by the time February closes off, we'll be at the campaign's 6-month mark, and our target by the end of that period is 250 conversions, as you see on the screen. So in other words, we're looking for 250 new converted users, what Brave considers to be new converted users who have not only downloaded and opened, but also have used the Brave browser for a minimum of 30 days. Actually, I'm just going to move my window. Sorry, guys. So yeah, as you can see by the numbers, we're well on our way. To date, our ambassadors have driven 5,587 downloads, and that number is up 4.31% since last week, as well as 414 first opens from those downloads. That number is up 2.22% since last week, and 185 conversions. That is up, I think that number is wrong, but It's up a couple percent from last week. And this means that we're about 74% of the way to our 6-month target, and there's a whole month remaining. So that's awesome. We've yet to experience a week without increases across all of these metrics, and we've managed to sustain a global conversion rate for the campaign of 3.3% thus far, which is really good. So I honestly have no doubts that we'll hit our target. So full steam ahead, Bad Ambassadors. As long as we keep up the momentum, I think we've got this in the bag. Okay, and I just want to shout out some of our top referrers for the week. We have Nam Jiang, whose downloads are up by 118. There are 2 new first opens resulting from those downloads and 5 new conversions coming from him. It's the first time that we have Nam on the leaderboard because we've seen a spike in his activity over the past week. So I wanted to shout him out. Well done, Nam, if you're here. Hopefully you tune in later if you're not here. And Stan as well, who has been, he's demonstrated consistency throughout the entire campaign, each week pushing those numbers along and maintaining a really steady conversion rate of 11.5%, which is outstanding. So well done, Stan, and well done to all the ambassadors who are participating. Okay, moving on. So questions about this have come up several times in recent weeks. So I wanted to relay to everybody that the winner of the Brave Scholarship contest has finally been announced via an official blog on the Brave website. I'll share the link in the chat once I'm off, or if someone on my team wants to share it in the meantime, please do. But the contest was for Brave's first scholarship for college students, and entrants submitted photos for consideration for Brave's new tab page. And the winner, their name is Sam Richter, and they are a computer science student from Iowa State University. They're winning photos pictured below. You can see it on the slide, but you can see it in full size in the blog, and you will see it in even greater size on the new tab page. And they took this during a hike in the Red Rock Canyon National Conservation Area in Nevada. So very cool. And they won a $2,500 cash prize that will go toward college related expenses like tuition and books. And as I mentioned, this photo will be featured on Brave's new tab page throughout the entire duration of 2024, which is super cool. And it'll be seen by Brave's 60 plus million users worldwide. So that's awesome. Again, I'll share the blog link in the chat in a little. Okay. Yeah, well done, Brad Richter. Okay. Let's move on to some Back Community Weekly highlights. Okay, so we were doing this a little while back, but we kind of stopped relaying these numbers. But I'm bringing this update back because we have recently increased our post frequency on X across the BAT accounts. So that includes the BAT community account and the attention token, the primary attention token account. We've increased our post frequency, we've diversified our content. We're posting threads, images, GIFs, videos, memes, and we've also kicked up interaction. And we're really seeing an increase in numbers from doing that. We've also been leveraging Brave ads for global exposure and amplification. So currently we have a push notification campaign running in Brave. You may have seen the ads if you have ads enabled. Sherelle, who's here today, helped me set it up. Thank you so much, Sherelle. But we basically just created some social copy to show our users that we have these social platforms where they can follow us. And so as you can see, the numbers are speaking for themselves. Numbers are up almost across the board, totally across the board on the Back community side. Impressions up 103% in the last 7 days, profile visits up 152%, new followers up by almost 1,500, or no, sorry, almost 900. So yeah, you can see the numbers, but they're real good, and we're going to keep this momentum going. So yeah, just wanted to show that off. Very proud. And I think on the Back community account, we had been hovering in terms of followers at the 16K mark for a while. We were kind of plateauing, and thanks to this campaign, and our efforts to increase our frequency with posting and engagement, we finally managed to move the needle. We're now at like 18.6%, 18.6K followers, which is great. Okie dokie. Let's see. So yeah, here, this is a blog post / case study that our partners at Bandit Network published this week about our recent SageBurn event and Web3 Quest that we did with them. I'll post the link again in the chat in a little bit, but some key takeaways, you can read more, you can read through the proper, you can read through the case study on the blog, I'll link it. But in the meantime, here are some key takeaways. So through the SageBurn event, we were able to leverage over 10 partner platforms that have integrated Bandit's NFT launch aggregator widget. It's like a white label. So our SageBurn appeared on, Bonk's platform, on Unstoppable Domains widget, on Shardium's, QuickNodes, etc. All these are partners of Bandits who have integrated their widget, and we were able to get more exposure for our event thanks to those integrations. So, that really helped enhance public visibility. We also saw, as a result, heightened social media engagement, resulting in increased online discussions. There was over 3.1K retweets on our announcement, 16,000 impressions, which really helped amplify our campaign's reach. And the quest that we then launched with Bandit to complement the SageBurn, which offered NFTs and BAT prizes to participants, attracted nearly 1.7K entrants. So we're really excited about that too, especially since, as you all know, we're going to be working with Bandit throughout 2024 to ramp up Web3 questing. And that'll engage BAT utility. We'll also be working with partners on quests. And we actually have a few really interesting ones in the pipeline. One is almost ready to rumble. It just needs a little review. And then there are more in the pipeline for the coming weeks. And lastly, we've minted 157 out of 300 Sage NFTs so far, which, we're now seeing a little bit of stagnation there. But as we've covered on previous calls, we may not end up seeing all 300 Sage NFTs mint out, because as people continue to burn for the Sage NFT, the third rarest NFT in the collection, the DGen, also becomes increasingly rare. So we're going to leave it up to the market to decide whether they want to mint out the Sages or not. Nevertheless, and finally, we did announce the winners of our Web3 Quest with Bandit. If you follow us on Twitter, you probably saw the announcement go out the other day, but I've put the winners on the side here. 4 of them are winning a Sage NFT, and 6 others are each receiving 100 SBAT. So thank you to everybody who entered. I know there were, like I said, over 1.7K entrants, not all from our community. I don't think I recognize any of the handles from the people who won. But as we will be holding many more quests to come, don't be discouraged. And thank you to those who entered. All right, now thank you. Now I'll hand it off to Guillermo for his update.
Hello, everyone. Just wanted to say more infographics. This is something that I've noticed in various that people overall want to see more of the features, want to be aware of the features. And I think that in January alone, just this year, Brave has launched at least just 4 updates that I can think of. We have on-chain tipping, we have the boomerang, we have the upgrade for Leo, and Brave News also was upgraded. So we have a lot of things that are coming up, and some of those things can be lost. Some of those things people just might not be aware, and some of those things can be a little bit complicated. So introducing infographics can be a way to overall just explain those things a little bit easier, just simplify those things, as well as enhance the engagement and retention that we can have with them. And it's just more time efficient, as it's on the poster. and more aesthetic appeal. So overall, this is something that can be easier to look at, can be easier to understand, can be easier for us to promote new features and upgrades and things like that. One thing that we were talking about internally was actually going on Instagram for Brave Instagram and seeing if we can integrate the infographics and these new updates and upgrades and new products and things alike on the Instagram highlights. Since Instagram is usually a place with more or less technical people, it could be a way for us to benefit and actually try to educate and showcase the things that we have to offer and try to promote a little bit more privacy, especially on Instagram, because I think if there's a place that lacks security and privacy, would probably be Instagram and TikTok. This is just my own personal opinion. Does not impersonate the opinions of Brave and Brave personnel. I think we can move to the next slide, Jenny. This is something that Scott showed us. Scott is one of our ambassadors that does the Karate Combat. We'll talk a little bit more in depth about Scott's endeavors, which we are very thankful for. I forgot the name of this program, which is not ideal, but this
I
basically is
think
an
it's,
AI. Go ahead, Jenny.
sorry, G. Yeah, I was just gonna say I think it's called Opus Clips.
Thank you. Thank you. Opus Clips. And basically what Opus Clips does is you can just feed the AI like hour-long video, and we'll make small snippets of that video, like into small sections, and it will try to transcribe that and just give it like the little captions that you see like in green, and just try to capture from our prior Brave talks. I saw on Biz someone was complaining that sometimes these are hard to access or just are hour long, and it would be very good to have just snippets of the essential parts. And I think this is something that we can internally explore just to boost the content that we are having here. Because a lot of times I think we have very important discussions, very important questions that are raised within the community and that we talk about. But then we only have the people that are inside here that watch the recordings afterwards, but are not really as accessible to the public. Even though they can easily accessible, they are hard to find. So this could be a way of just making them a little bit more accessible and more widely known. Next slide, Jenny. Thank you. So Echo, some of you might remember, was a magazine slash NFT that we within the community worked on, and basically was an NFT that was also a magazine and just featured our own opinions on what AI had to bring, just the good, the bad, and the evil. Sorry, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Um, and we're trying to do the same thing with a new issue for Web3 gaming. Sadly, we have ran into some obstacles working with other projects. But overall, I think that we'll be ready sometime still this season. I don't want to announce any dates nor months because it's not been the easiest to coordinate everything with a lot of different projects. So it's something that we're trying to still organize. I can say for a fact that there will be more artwork. I've been working closely with Moonbeamer. I'll be reaching out to Left Hand, and I'll be making some on my own. I forgot to include some here, which actually would be cool, but I honestly forgot. I can include them in next week. But overall, just want to make it more artistic, just try to add more value to the holders and distribute it within the community. We also want to find new distributors in order of not having it only on Solana, but also exploring other blockchains that are partnered with Brave, such as maybe Polygon, maybe Near. It's still something that we're trying to work on. We want to try a more permanent spot slash solution with Drip. We are currently in talks with them and seeing what are the options available. We'll be working more closely with them next month and working to get that available. So once you're a holder, so we're trying to get this still to be free for everyone within the community. But for some reason, like afterwards, if you want to sell it, I mean, it's yours and yours to keep and yours to sell. It would be really cool if BAT would be an option, or imagine that you just lost the opportunity of getting these one available for free because usually they are in like small time frames. It would be really cool if you could get them with BAT. Next slide, Jenny, please. Thank you,
Sorry,
Jenny.
G.
No worries. Casey posters. So as some of you might know, Karate Combat is one of our partners, one of Brave partners, and I've just been creating some posters for them because honestly, I'm a big fan of UFC. I think I've mentioned it before, and it doesn't take long to make the transitions for karate. Um, and it's just something that I've been more closely working with and just trying to boost their events and their shows by creating posters, as well as it can create engagement, and we can support community watch parties, which we'll talk a little bit, I think, on Drew's hand.
Yeah, and I also wanted to mention that because Brave is an official sponsor of Karate Combat, we've been featured on the ring for several of their recent matches, including the Kickback 1 event, the KC43 event, the KC42 event, which recently passed. And, you know, there are clips of that floating all over Twitter, but it's really cool to see our branding, you know, in big, bold letters right across the arena. And so that's one of the reasons that we're going so hard helping them promote. It's the first time that we've done this type of sponsorship, and we're really excited about it.
It's really cool to see it up there too. Like it's a big arena, and it's a very unusual type of arena because it has like walls as borders, which is very unusual, never seen, I believe. And seeing Brave up there is really cool. Also, we had given some karate combats, which you can use to not bet but vote on fighters that you think might win the next events. These are some of the prior posters for KC42 and KC43, if I remember correctly, and their respective POAPs.
Yeah, these look great. I also want to mention that we have held several watch parties for these events that Guillermo has promoted through these posters over Brave Talk, where, like he was mentioning, people can. So with Karate Combat, one of their things is like you can vote on fights or fighters in the Karate Combat app using karate tokens, and so you're kind of. It's not. They don't call it betting, but anyway, if you
Voting.
you know vote correctly, yeah, then you'll win tokens. But what's really cool is in Brave Talk, when we stream the events there for a watch party, we can create polls where people can, you know, vote for fun or for free on their favorite fighters or who they think is going to win without having to, you know, create a Hedera wallet, download the Karate Combat app. They could just do that directly in Brave Talk. So that's been really fun too.
Sleepy Pattern mentioned something factual, that is, it's not actually betting because you don't lose your tokens, and that is factually correct. You don't lose your tokens. You always retain some or the totality, even if you lose the fighter that you choose to vote. They're supported by Hedera, and they have some cool mechanics too. Like very recently, I think a week or two ago, with their karate combat tokens, they asked their holders if a rule should be removed or not, which is the 5-second rule, which means that someone who is on the floor can only get on top for 5 second stops, and they basically announced that could be removed if holders wanted to do so. So by using the token, you could actually remove that rule and whatnot, and I thought that was really, really cool. It's very similar to what projects like DCR did in the past. Anyways, next slide, please. Oh, I think that's it from my end. On to Pattern.
Hello. Yeah, so I'm back in Europe, so I'm on this time zone again. We held our regular meetings and events. I reviewed all the current tasks on Discord, got that a bit more organized, found stuff we can actually crack on with because it was a bit of a mess before. I've looked into integrating Zapier for automation with Notion. Like we toyed with the idea before, but now it's getting taken seriously. This week, we'll be collaborating with Belladone on getting Gamerbase going. And the next slide, please, Jenny. Oh. Is Bowes here?
So,
Bows, yeah, come on up. Tell us about some of the recent events you did in the community.
So I've just been doing my thing kind of in the local North Carolina area. Last week, I actually had 3 crypto Web3 related events. One was kind of just a casual meetup, got to meet a few new people in the area. We were supposed to get sweets and teas. or like small dishes, but the place was randomly closed, so we ended up hitting up a restaurant that was nearby instead. So that was pretty good. Then I had a visit with another guy on. I had a day off, so I went and met up with him at a venue that he owns. We kind of chatted about like various Web3 and crypto stuff. He kind of showed me around, and he was offering to let me use it for free. Pretty much whenever for meetups, and it kind of had a nice. This had a nice location, downtown. Had free parking and other stuff, so it's pretty cool. I'm sure we'll definitely be using it some, and I think it's going to help me get some speakers and some other stuff for some events. And then I had a lunch that same day with some people from industry. So just networking, kind of doing my thing, trying to probably try to get something a little bit bigger going next month. That's kind of what I've been talking to people about lately. So
that's really cool. And you mentioned during our ambassadors meeting that most of the people that turned up to these few events were already Brave users, right?
Yeah, I don't think there was a single person I met last week at any of these things that wasn't an active Brave user. So, kind of hard to get my numbers up when a lot of the people I'm meeting actually already use Brave. Even outside of like the Web3 industry, some of the people I've just been talking to randomly at stores I go to turn out to already be Brave users. So.
Wow. Well, I think this is a good problem to have, right? Because it kind of shows that we're saturating this specific market, which is a good thing. And also, don't underestimate the network effects or like the growth effects that this could have. You talking to a couple of people who are already Brave users, but might not, actively be pitching it or sharing it with people that they know. When you meet with them and you cover the recent updates and all the cool new things Brave is doing, it may make them, go out and actually talk to somebody else about it. And then that's how, you grow over time. And so while this didn't do much for your referral stats this week, sorry about it, there are unseen benefits to what you're doing. So I think it's awesome. And you also have a ton of Brave merch that you still need to give out. So you're going to have to do more of these.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, no, it's definitely a good thing. I'm not doing it for the stats, obviously, but I definitely have noticed in recent years a tick up in like how many people I just like randomly know who use Brave. So that's pretty exciting to see. I'm honestly surprised that like just given that our MAU and DAUs aren't a little bit higher than they are, just because it does seem like a bigger number of users in my area than I would have thought.
Oh yeah, sorry. You cut out for a second there, but I think I caught what you mean. Yeah, it's great to be surprised that there seem to be more people in your area, even outside of these crypto and Web3 and blockchain circles, that use Brave. Hopefully, we continue to be able to capture these cohorts outside of just the Web3 space in the coming year plus. I look forward to it, but it's always nice and surprising when you meet somebody who unexpectedly, uses Brave for whatever reason.
Yeah, I talked to some people who apparently use it so they don't have ads when they read manga. So
that's as good a reason as any other to use it. That's awesome. Thank you so much, Bao. Is there anything else that you want to share?
no, that's pretty much it. I might have some more updates next week. We'll see.
All right, sounds good. We look forward. Thank you. Oh, Crippled Resistance has a question. Come on up.
Sorry about that. Thank you for letting me talk. When you run into a user, do you try to talk about the wallet or any of the crypto features of Brave?
It kind of depends on the user I'm talking to or the person I'm talking to and kind of their interests. I think most fundamentally, a lot of users, like if they just haven't heard of Brave at all, and if they're people that I see somewhat regularly, for a lot of them, like the most fundamentally important thing is that they just like the base product of Brave the most. So I've kind of found that if you give them a chance to try that out, and once they try that out, they usually like it. It then becomes like kind of a follow up thing. But it really just depends on the user and like what they're kind of into. How I talk about it.
Because isn't the wallet a major part of the browser now that it will help the price of that go up if we were using it more?
Yeah, I mean, like at like events I do, usually like stuff like the wallet and like what we've been working on, what's being added, definitely comes up a lot more. Some people also are really interested in like just the fact that they can earn that in general. Again, kind of depending on the person. It. So I mean, it's not like I don't talk about those things.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the question. And that was a great answer, Bowsen. I think, it makes a ton of sense. It really does depend on the person and it depends on the context in which, you're talking to people. If it's at a Web3 event, like the ones that you just did, then it would make a ton of sense to cover the Web3 features, talk a lot about the wallet. But I would say, if you're just talking to somebody who is removed from the space, a normal person that you meet out in public, most people are really fascinated by, the basic privacy features, the ad blocking, the browser speed and performance, anything that can enhance their efficiency and, get rid of annoying advertisements. Especially if you tell them, Brave blocks ads on YouTube, like that's enough to reel somebody in. And then, from that point, we need, the challenge then becomes like, how do we onboard those people to Web3 as well, to be able to take advantage of all of the wonderful Web3 features that Brave has? And do we need to do that for every user too? I think that's also something to consider, is that there's something in Brave for everyone and not everyone needs to use every feature. But when it makes sense to present these Web3 features, we definitely should. And I think that we do try to take advantage of every opportunity to do so.
Yeah, and there's some people I know too who like once they try out Brave and they like it, sometimes they're attracted to the idea of like not even necessarily like trying to earn back themselves, but just get kind of into the ecosystem to one, support Brave in the browser, but to also sometimes just for auto tipping. I know like creators admittedly maybe haven't been as widespread as we would have always liked, but especially now that we're getting more on-chain stuff set up too. I think that's going to continue to be an area that's going to kind of growingly pique people's interest.
I agree. I think, yeah, that's totally right. Like as the products become better and the flows, between Web 2 and Web 3 interaction become more seamless, it'll be easier than ever to, onboard people and have them utilizing our whole suite of features to its fullest potential.
I think as soon as people are getting on-chain tips, that's going to be a real Trojan horse to get people using the wallet, Like so many people want to use the wallet just to actually get their bat without a custodian.
100%.
I think I have a slide in here that I was supposed to hide, so I'll just skip that one. And yeah, let's move along. So Scott, are you here? Oh, I see that you've unmuted, but I don't hear you.
How's this?
Yes, much better.
I am here.
Awesome. Welcome. So everybody, we mentioned earlier Karate Combat's Kickback One event that took place last week. Brave was an arena sponsor. Our branding was plastered all over the ring. It was really cool to see. And like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, we have held watch parties through Brave Talk to celebrate this awesome sponsorship and to watch these fights together, vote on fighters together through Brave Talk previously. But we also have in our ambassadors program a wonderful creator named Scott who has a YouTube channel, and he offered to host a watch party for the Kickback One event, and kind of tie in his Bad Ambassador involvement, plus some other elements from other collaborations that we've been doing in the community. So Scott, do you want to tell us a little bit about what you did?
Yeah, it was really cool, and I have to jump on this too. That pit couldn't be any better designed to show off the Brave logo. I mean, it's up at an angle. With other ones, if it's flat, it's hard to see. So whenever the camera's getting the fighters, you could see that totally big and clear, and it was great. But yeah, so my background is martial arts. I've been doing martial arts since I was 12 years old and was a professional martial arts school owner for about 30 years and trained in everything you could think of. And so when I came across Karate Combat last year and with the karate token, I was like, wow, I don't know what took me so long because they've been around since 2018. And I was just like, this is amazing. And had elements that I had honestly gotten. I love UFC, don't get me wrong, but there are elements that I really, really enjoyed seeing, more of the stand-up striking as opposed to jiu-jitsu is great. But if you got someone on the ground for 30 minutes, you know what I mean, or 20 minutes or whatever, it kind of slows things down. So a lot of factors came into play, and I did a couple of videos last year about Karate Combat, and then with Brave, I've been using Brave for 2 years and being an ambassador. I'm thinking, well, this is like chocolate and peanut butter. So my first live stream, the one I did was Karate Combat 43, and then I was really excited to do this one. And it was just a lot of fun. It was amazing. A lot of new things happened. Some rule changes are coming up like we talked about earlier. So it was just a really cool event. And I had a lot of fun doing it because I also add commentary to what we're seeing now with the commentators that they have, like Boss Rutan, George St. Pierre, the other ones, and those guys are legends. They have to move on quickly from one to the other, but I can linger on certain things and give a perspective that may be a little bit more broader, and maybe reasons why. So I'm able to kind of elaborate a little bit more, which really makes it fun and more engaging. So it was amazing. It was amazing, fun event. And yeah, I want to keep doing more of those. It was great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I mean, it was really exciting for us to be able to support your YouTube channel.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. And even though you didn't stream this fight through Brave Talk, we figured up a configuration. Did that make any sense? Sorry, I just stumbled. But we've figured out how to set it up so that the next time you can stream from your YouTube channel, have your commentary, but then we could be plugging that stream into Brave Talk,
Oh,
and then we can have people. Yeah, and then we'll have people talking in the chat while the fight's going on, voting with the polls. And also, I wanted to suggest this on our Monday call, but I forgot. We could also give out in advance POAPs for the upcoming Karate Combat event and require people to have those in order to access the Brave Talk stream. Like we can token gate it too, which is kind of fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, that'll be amazing. Absolutely.
I love it. I love it. Always finding new ways to tie in our products with our community activities. It's such a good time. And I don't know if you mentioned, but so we did a Twitter Spaces with Shrapnel, which is a first-person shooter Web3 PC game a couple weeks ago. We spoke to them, introduced them to our community, and they gave us some extraction packs for our community to redeem on early game access and some in-game NFTs when they do their early access round. And you were able to get some of those extraction packs too, thanks to like this whole, collaboration, and give those away during your stream too, right, Scott?
I did. It was amazing. And they actually did announce, I'm not sure if you saw, they did announce that February 8th is going to be their first early access. So I'm not sure if that's.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really soon.
Yeah. But
That's great. That's great.
yeah, and I did some giveaway stuff too for Brave, on my live stream, because I always want to tie in Brave in some capacity, pretty much in all my live streams that I do, or anything where I'm able to do that. Either I'm wearing, because I love in Florida, it's been kind of nippy here lately, believe it or not. So I've been wearing like the beanies, and I love those hoodies. Those things are the best. So I'm always trying to put in Brave. I'll put a link in there as well, so they can go and, if they want to download it or check it out. So constantly trying to cross-pollinate. So if I'm doing a live stream about something else, I will always try to incorporate Brave into that. So it's more of like, oh, let me go check this out.
That's amazing. We love to see it. Love the cross-pollination. We love that you're always supporting us. We love that we can support you in return. It's really great. Love having you around in the ambassadors program.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, let's move along. We want to make sure that we can fit in everyone who needs to come up today, including Shivan, of course. So, okay, hang on. We've got a couple more slides here. Okay, Paula.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're having a lovely day. I'll try to do this as quick as possible. So some Web3 events are happening in LATAM, and the BAT ambassadors are going to be part of them. And this time, Donatello, our ambassador from Mexico, will be at the 8th Cinco de Mayo hackathon from February 2nd to 4th in Puebla, Mexico. In this in-person event, there will be more than 600 Web3 hackers, more than 20 workshops, and 6 days of side events. And the Bad Mexico team will engage in different activities, spreading Brave awareness among attendees. And they will also give away some swag merch, such as stickers and hats. We are excited to see that and share all the pictures with you. Next slide, please. Thank you, Jenny. I'm also very excited to finally share the content that Jenny and I, and of course the marketing team, have been working on. I did the voiceover in Spanish for 2 existing videos from Brave's YouTube channel, Brave the privacy browser, and introducing Brave Talk private video conferencing. You can see the pictures there. I'm going to share the links in a moment, and I also made some tweets about it. Well, we were working on this for several months, and it was quite a process, but we finally made it happen. And of course, we will we will be working on more videos in Spanish soon, and in other languages as well. Next one, please.
This is awesome, Paula. I just want to chime in for a quick second. Where are these? Are these available on the official Brave channel? Oh yeah, it looks like they are.
Yes, that's correct.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And this is all part of a larger, effort to localize some of our content and to engage, our users in other parts of the world in their native language. And I know that we have someone working on this internally, Andy, who, is trying to figure out the best way to do this with content. But, I think this is a really great start. And I'm so excited to see what kind of responses this new content garners. And likewise, I think there is an effort internally, or talk internally right now, of potentially setting up YouTube channels, or other content channels that are fully language localized. So a YouTube channel for Brave with only Spanish videos, or the same thing with only French videos, just so that we can really engage our users fully in other parts of the world. yeah, there's more localized content to come, so stay tuned and check out Paolo's videos. Give them a thumbs up if you like them. Thank you, Paola. This is awesome. I'm really, really happy and excited about this.
Thank you so much, Jenny, and thank you so much, Belladon, for sharing in the chat. And next slide.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. I wanted to add something else, but I'll wait till you're done. Hang on. Go ahead.
So we published the recap from our space with Guacamole that we did on November 10th in Notion. We posted it in the Bat Brigade Discord in the AMA Calls recap channel, but you can also find it in the latest post from the Bat community account on X. Actually, I also published the Notion recap for Bing Bong in Discord. However, I haven't posted it in X yet. Well, Twitter, X, but it's there in case you want to take a look. But yeah, that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paola. And I'll save what I was going to add. I'll bring it up again next week. I want to make sure we have time to run through everything. Thank you, Paola. That was awesome.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Oh, and then is Bruno here, or did he?
He's not here, but we've got some new graphics for the Brazilian localization account he's running, done by Void Historian. We mentioned it last week. All right,
oh,
next slide.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, for a little more context, our BAT ambassadors, each of them, well, not each of them, but many of them run their own localized groups on Twitter dedicated to basic attention tokens. So in this case, we now have a BAT Brazil account where there will be BAT and Brave official announcements mirrored in Portuguese, and our other accounts do similarly for their languages, so that we can reach more users in those communities. So thank you, Bruno. I can't tell if he's here, I don't think he's here, but thank you if you tune in later. This is awesome. I'm excited to have an account up for Brazil. Well done. Okay, and I think that wraps it up. Oh no, sorry, Drew, go ahead. Is Drew
I don't
not here?
think he's here.
Oh, that's okay. Okay, no problem. Let me see. What did we not cover here? There were some airdrops that happened this week in the community. I don't have the full details on these. Bat earn, do you? Not bat airdrops. No. To specify.
No. We had some. If you'd use Jup, you could in the Brave wallet, you could get this Wen one, and yeah, that was it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. There was something about that. Anyways, check out our Twitter in the highlights section to read more about those. But yeah, I think it was that one was if you use the Brave wallet for Jupiter swaps, then you qualified for an airdrop, something like that. You can check it out on Twitter. We'll have Drew fill in the details for that next week. And he just wanted to remind everybody that we have weekly poker games where you can win bad prizes, trivia, and Jackbox with Dragon Dave in Discord as well, where you can also win bad prizes. So join the Discord if you're not in there already. And I think that brings us to the end of the presentation. Thank you, team. And now, yeah, thank you. Hopefully the updates were interesting this week. Now, without further ado, we have Shivan here. Sorry for making you wait till the end. I think we're going to move our guests to the front going forward, but come on up, Shivan.
Hey, Jenny. That was actually interesting, just reading through or hearing you all talk about stuff. So I enjoyed it.
Oh, thank you. That's great. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? And I know that C-Ray in particular, I saw him going off in the chat earlier, had some questions, I think, about the latest fingerprinting update, or I don't know if there's any specific insights you want to share there. You just want to field questions, but you can start by telling us a bit about yourself.
Yeah, sure. Hey all, I'm Shivan. I lead the privacy team here and have been with Brave about 3 years now, mostly focused on shipping privacy features, but also a lot of web compatibility stuff recently, focusing on user retention as we also build more privacy into our products. And yeah, I guess Jenny mentioned that folks were interested in the blog post that we released a little while ago about deprecating strict fingerprinting protection. Just wanted to say that we decided to do that because we wanted to move most of our stronger protections to standard mode, because it seemed like the overwhelming majority of folks were using standard protection anyway. And it seemed like the very few people who did enable strict fingerprinting, they were sticking out. And we wanted to make sure that that's an unintended consequence of the feature. So we decided to deprecate it. And the blog post goes into more detail about why and how we decided to do that. But the upshot is that it'll let us focus on the really important privacy and web compatibility protections that everyone needs, and have it just be on by default, which is part of Brave's privacy strategy. And that's it for that. But we're also working on some other exciting things. We recently found out that very, very few people on Brave and generally across browsers are using secure DNS, which means that most people are leaking their DNS queries to their ISP. And this is actually Chrome's default behavior. So we're making a change where we'll be falling back to secure DNS or DNS over HTTPS. And that'll be a pretty big privacy win, I think. So we're working on trialing that out. And happy to talk more. There's tons of stuff planned, but I guess I could take questions for the last few minutes.
Awesome. Yeah, that was a great overview, though. Siri, did you want to come up with? I know you had some questions. Did you want to come up and ask?
Yeah, I mean, if other people don't have something to jump in on, but when we were talking about the changes, a lot of the complaints here, I understand the purpose of Brave, but is there a reason why we are taking control away from the users as far as not even giving them the option?
Yeah, it's a great question. One we anticipated that people might have. So I guess the answer is that that's actually not true. You can go to Brave Flags and re-enable strict fingerprinting, but the issue was that, like I mentioned, like the very few people who did enable strict fingerprinting, and it was like something like 0.5% of our total user base, they were sticking out even more to websites who were trying to fingerprint them or embedding fingerprinting scripts. So to make sure that we weren't offering an option that let people shoot themselves in the foot accidentally, like that was one of the main reasons we decided to deprecate it.
Okay, and I know the strict fingerprinting, was that, how much of that was farbling versus how much of that farbling is just within the normal?
Yeah, I think so. Most of it, like I said, we did a comprehensive analysis and we moved all the stuff that we thought made a lot of sense into our standard mode. So you will see that a lot of farbling happens in standard mode. Honestly, I think most of the strict fingerprinting stuff was cases where we like outright removed the API, and that definitely was kind of like the nuclear option and broke websites all the time. And also just websites would be like, oh, you removed this API, that must mean you're privacy conscious. And I think that was just an additional signal, like I mentioned. So to answer your question, like most of standard fingerprinting protection is still farbling.
Right, and I guess part of the things that I've been seeing is people complaining, saying that Brave is not actually farbling as it claims. But I'm not even sure the differences. For example, one referred to audio context. When I look at the posting from like 2 years ago, it does not list audio context as something that it farbles, but it did mention audio buffer. How do those little differences matter or happen?
I mean, it's just that, we like just have a deluge of new web APIs that Chromium ships, and we have to keep track of them. And then what we do is we examine new APIs coming in, and the best option is always if you can just prevent them from being shipped in the first place. And me and Pete Snyder, like we actively work in the W3C and try to tell Chromium folks to like stop shipping privacy harmful stuff in the first place. But often the things you have to farble are the stuff that Chrome ships by default, and suddenly you see that most websites will start using them. So it's very much like an iterative process, like where we ship something, and then once we see that more websites are using it, then we have to like ship it an improvement, and then it's just a constant back and forth that we have to do.
Which I understand now. One of the things that I've been looking at, are we focusing more on compatibility lately and sacrificing or being willing to sacrifice the privacy that Brave used to stand for? Because we now no longer hide the idea that we're using a web browser. We always show stuff like that. We show the audio, we show what graphics cards, all of these things never change. And a lot of people feel even sharing what operating systems you're on. Some people are on limited versions of like Linux, um, and they feel that by Brave just automatically disclosing that every time, it's intruding on the privacy. And when we've asked about it before, it was said that you guys started showing it again because otherwise sites were breaking. So how are we finding that balance? And are we really sacrificing privacy lately?
I would say no. I don't think we're like sacrificing privacy, but it is, web compatibility is extremely important. Like we don't want folks to just constantly be browsing broken websites, and it's something we're working on pretty actively to have. How do you have both privacy and web compat? Like last year, we shipped Sugarcoat, which was a research project that we did with University of California, San Diego, and we wrote a paper about it. And basically, like the ad tracking scripts, like we sanitize them from a privacy point of view. So we're figuring out ways to scale that, and that's something that no other browser is doing. It's extremely novel, cutting edge work that gets you both privacy and web compat. So I think we're extremely committed to finding ways to, not sacrifice web compat, but also have privacy like inbuilt in the browser. And there's obviously like extremely tough decisions around, like I mentioned, like Chromium features that we get from upstream, and that stuff is just constantly. Like I can tell you, like most of my job is like figuring out like which ones, what should we do about them, and that's a very hard problem that we like constantly work on, and also just like from a UX point of view, like how do we show this to the user? And like users vary quite a bit in how technically savvy they are versus like how much they want to be interrupted in their day-to-day browsing. So yeah, I mean it's a very hard problem that yeah, I mean if you have like feedback and comments and stuff, I think on GitHub especially are extremely welcome. Yeah.
Right, which navigating through GitHub can be a headache, quite frankly. And I know when we are talking about why is it that like the header or sharing the user agent there, that's the word I was looking for. Why is it that we don't have an option to randomize it instead of trying to force people to go get extensions and everything?
So we try in our privacy strategy, we definitely try to keep the features we have, that we ship, stuff that we can really make an impactful difference. Like you can modify your user agent by downloading a Chrome extension or a web extension. Like you can do that today. So we want to make sure that the stuff that we ship is stuff that is not just an extension that you can download off of the extension store, and also because we think that we really want to I guess similar reasons to what I mentioned earlier. Like we don't want to just have Brave users stick out and like have Brave users be denied services by websites who want to be doing something malicious. So that's why we decided to go with a user agent that matched an existing one. And yeah, I think we also wrote and published a blog post about like that dealt like with delved into like more of the reasons around it. I can try to dig that up, but that's been going on for like 3 years.
Yeah, no, and I've been seeing complaints on it for 3 years. I mean, it's just one of those to where people don't want to have to get extensions if we don't have to necessarily. I mean, yeah, some of them are wanting us to differentiate, different parts of Brave and don't want things like VPN thrown in. But when it comes to ad blocking, I know a lot of people are looking for the customization, kind of like how uBlock has been able to do, where people are saying they're able to even, I forget the terms now, they're able to analyze, what's on the screen, like maybe what it is, and then block certain ads, where Brave does not make that easy for us to be able to identify. And then it would be the same thing for like what we said, trying to mask that user agent. You're now having to go through the Chrome store or something, which means creating an account with Google, if I remember right. And now you're also having to hope that whatever you're downloading does not contain any viruses or malware or anything. And we always do say that every extension that you have is another way to differentiate your device, and might make you easier to fingerprint. So it kind of increases that chances, and I think that's kind of the struggle, is everyone wants to be, or not everyone, lots of people, especially the most privacy centered, are wanting to be able to have that kind of finite, or the control within the browser.
So just to be clear, like the fact that we have the same user agent string across browsers is a privacy measure. Like that is very much a privacy move that we have in order to prevent users from being fingerprinted. Like if I, set my user agent to be like Shivan's browser, like whatever derived from Firefox, like that'll be extremely easy. That'll make it extremely easy for a website to fingerprint me. So I would say it's actually a privacy anti-measure to allow users to randomize their user agent. But if someone wanted to do so, like, obviously we do not want to control what users can and cannot. And that was my point about extension, and that they can then do that. I think you also mentioned like parity with UBO. That's totally something we're actually working pretty hard on. Like we actually allow users to be able to select an element on the page and block it from there. I use that all the time on Twitter, for example, to block ads and to block like certain divs and stuff, and to add debugging information in more inbuilt into Brave. Yeah, that's something that actually I've been talking to folks on my team, Anton, who drives a lot of our ad blocking stuff and leads a lot of that work. Like we've been talking about how we can make it easier for Brave users to debug like ad block filters on the browser itself. So yeah, all this stuff is being actually worked on.
All right, great. I know when we do talk about that, that's only on desktop though, not on Android or iOS, where those capabilities exist, correct? Like being able to block any particular area of the screen and all that.
On iOS, it's extremely hard because we're bound by what Safari or what WebKit allows us to do, and that's a platform problem, which is faced across every single browser that is on iOS. But on Android, I believe we have some work to increase. Or earlier, you had to go to like Brave AdBlock or something. We're trying to make some more intuitive and native UI pages for that. I'm not sure what the status is for cosmetic filtering over there, but I can take a look. It's just extremely hard to figure out how a user would interact with like with a like particular div on the page and then select it to be removed. Like that sounds like just a really, really hard thing to do. But yeah, it's something that I think I think there's an issue for that somewhere to figure out how to do that.
All right, and I know we're over time. I don't want to keep you long, otherwise I could probably keep going, but I'll try to message you sometime later.
Yeah, for sure. Always happy to chat about privacy things.
Awesome. Well, hopefully that clears up some of the lingering questions on the recent update and reassures folks that the privacy team is, thinking through all these really difficult questions. Does anyone else have a last question to end on? Okay, I don't see any hands, but that's okay. So I'll leave it to you, Shivan. I know you mentioned the DNS queries thing. Is there? Do we know when that'll land in Nightly, if it's not there already, or if not that, is there anything else exciting that you'd like to mention before hopping off today?
Yeah, I think we're going to experiment with a few different providers just to make sure that we have the performance and like the privacy policies that we need from our partners. So we're going to experiment with that in Nightly and then maybe the coming month or so. I guess one other exciting thing is we want to allow users to be able to just have Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn like login scripts be blocked by default. So that prevents tracking on every single website that you go to where there's a login button. And instead, when you click on it, then dynamically we would allow these scripts to be loaded, so you don't just have a state, which is the current state, which is that you just have these scripts embedded everywhere across the web. And this would also be a pretty meaningful privacy improvement, I think, for the web ecosystem.
That sounds really exciting. I'm very much looking forward to that. Well, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. And once again, I apologize for kind of bleeding over time, everyone, and for only bringing Shivan up towards the end. But hopefully it won't be the last time that you join us here, Shivan. We're always eager to hear privacy updates. And I really do love the blog series that your team publishes. I think if you guys go to the Brave blog, brave.com/blog, there's like a whole, there's a subheading for privacy updates, and you can read all the updates in that series. Very interesting. So yeah, please join us again, and feel free to hop on whenever you're available. We do this every Tuesday, as Luke likes to say, same bat time, same bat place every Tuesday. So yeah, join us whenever you'd like. You're welcome anytime.
Yeah, thank you so much. And it's always just so great receiving feedback in like this kind of interaction where you can go back and forth. So yeah, thanks again.
Oh. Wonderful. Yeah. Thank you, C-Ray, for the questions. Thank you, everybody else. Thank you, team, for presenting today, and for our bad ambassadors who came up and shared as well. This was a really nice community call. It was great getting to host for you all today. And next week, we'll resume our regularly scheduled programming with Luke. So in the meantime, have a great evening, everyone, and we'll talk soon. Take it easy.
See you, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Take care.